Good afternoon, everyone. Sheree Strivitz Hill here, President and founder of Events to Remember and PR to Remember, with our Coffee with Cher podcast series for entrepreneurs. And I am excited to share Miss Jennifer Tsay, with you all this afternoon. She is the CEO and co-founder of Shoott. Hello, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good. I am good. Welcome to Coffee with Cher.
Thank you.
And we always start with that little afternoon cheers. There's coffee in my mug. Anything exciting in yours? Look how cute your mug is.
Also coffee.
All right, well, cheers to you.
Cheers.
I'm repping my Madam CJ Walker mug. I
Oh,
love
I
this
love that.
mug.
That's so gorgeous.
Melissa, she was on my podcast and she always hears me talking about mugs and she sent this to me and I'm obsessed with it.
Oh my God, as you
Oh,
should be. Look at
and
that.
yeah. So, all right, let's get down into it. So, Jennifer, welcome to Coffee with Cher.
Thank
Tell
you.
us about your journey. Tell us how you got started.
Yeah, so my journey is really what I call like an accidental journey. So I I never really intended to be an entrepreneur. I have just a really varied background. I have a background in corporate finance and investment banking, working for strategic finance then at a Fortune 500 company. And then I did that for about 5 or 6 years. And I was like, oh, I like the money, but I'm so bored. I'm just like, if this is it to life, like I didn't work this hard to be this bored. So I then decided to try like everything my little heart desired. So I took dance class, acting class. I produced a documentary for the first time. I for free. I wrote a screenplay. I planned weddings. I whitened teeth. I tutored. I babysat. I really like was like, what is it like to have all these different types of jobs? And
Hmm.
through that process, I really fell in love with artists, people who were really committed to doing freelance work. And I did it
Hmm.
myself for a while. I was an actor for a good 10 years and I still do it sometimes.
Hmm.
And the thing that stuck with me was there's so many people who are so talented that have to stop doing their art because supporting yourself as a freelance artist is so hard.
Hard.
And so that kind of always stuck with me. And one of the jobs that I had during that period was I worked with a serial entrepreneur
Hmm.
who ran startups and worked with him for a little bit. And I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I feel like there's such a need for my skill set in this. And I
Hmm.
was like, that kind of stuck with me. And then 10 years later, when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I reached back out and I was like, hey, you know, I really want to work in the startup space. If you know of any hiring, let me know.
Hmm.
And he was like, this is so weird. I want to start something new and I'm in town. Let's meet up. So we
Hmm.
did. And within like 2 days, we had an idea for what Shoot would be based on
Hmm.
like us talking, kind of spitballing about like our experiences. And we're like, is there a way to make a business model that is beneficial for artists so they can stay artists, where we can create a win-win, that we
Hmm.
create a better environment for them and then we pass on the benefit to clients somehow. And we
Hmm.
figured out that we could potentially do that for photographers, even though that
Hmm.
is not my background. We're like, oh, we can, if the gig life is like, I have a gig here, I have a gig there, I might have one a week, I might,
Hmm.
hopefully I can cobble together enough work. But we're like, what if we can have them in one place and create a lot of demand where they have, 6 bookable slots because they're
Hmm.
in a certain place for about 3 hours. And we did that and we realized, oh, we can actually drive demand, we can create demand. And because
Hmm.
we did do that, we can offer it to clients in the form of a free photo shoot where they only pay for the photos they want. And that was really the genesis of the business. And
Hmm.
then it just really took off from there. And I went from it was just accidental. And then once it started working, I'm like, well, I guess I'm in charge of this.
Hmm.
So here we go. So that's that.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. So I love when entrepreneurs say it, they kind of like, fell in it or it was one of those things because people ask that question all the time. And I I always say like I didn't set out to be an entrepreneur myself, right? And I wasn't one of those kids that had like a lemonade stand.
Lemonade
You know how
stand.
some people are just like, from when they were little, like they knew, like I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So
Yeah.
my journey, like yours, I mean, different from yours, but it didn't start that way. So when I hear entrepreneurs say in telling their story, kind of that side of it, it makes me happy. Like, okay, good. I'm not like, because everyone's like, oh, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur when I was out of the womb, and so so that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I love how you just kind of incorporated all of your passions and different things that you've done. And at the end, you're back with supporting in some way, shape, or form artists, which is great.
Hmm.
So what do you think sets Shoot apart from others in that space?
So, I mean, the textbook answer is that we provide photo shoots for free up front. Meaning, like most people, when you book a photo shoot, it's a little bit like booking a haircut. Like you're
Hmm.
going to pay for that haircut regardless of whether you like it or not. And
Hmm.
so you may pay for something you might not like. It's a huge investment in time and that kind of thing and money. And so we were like, oh, no other photography platform offers it that it is risk free up front,
Hmm.
where you get to book a photo shoot, attend it. All that stuff is taken care of for you, like permits, whatever. And then you also receive your gallery and see the photos that were taken. And only then do you get to choose and have to pay money. So it
Hmm.
really puts the onus on us as a business to hire the best photographers
Hmm.
and retain a certain amount of quality so that the client gets the privilege of being like, no, I get to choose what I want to buy the way
Hmm.
that they can choose for other things, right? So that is definitely something that sets us apart. Most other photographers make you pay up front, as they should.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Hmm.
They make you pay up front for either a sitting fee or extra fee for the photos.
Hmm.
A lot of them, to just protect themselves, they have to narrow it down and be like, I'm only going to give you a selection of, say, 5 to 10 of your best ones. But
Hmm.
what we have found over time, because we allow them to choose, is what they would choose for their photos is not what the photographer would choose. It's
Hmm.
actually such an emotional process for
Hmm.
them that we want you to see all your options and have the freedom of choice.
Hmm.
So that entire interplay is very different.
Hmm.
And then I would say one thing that does set us apart, otherwise, just knowing the other platforms out there that are doing this, is that we're run almost exclusively by people who are current or former or even current artists.
Artist.
So that is something, when you live that life, you understand the
Hmm.
pain points very personally. You're
Yeah.
motivated in a different way.
Hmm.
I think certain other business, like they're very about like the business of making money.
Hmm.
And of course, we want to make money, but we're also in the business of protecting artists. So
Hmm.
we try to do whatever we can to protect their time. We have a really open channel of communication where if they have a complaint, we'll listen to it, we'll take into account. Our team is so small that we like to build solutions for them. So we
Hmm.
try to make it very human forward. And especially in this age of like heavy AI and technology, I
Yeah.
do think that that's something that sets us apart.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I love the fact that, you guys really tie in the protection of the artist. You see how um gig professionals get taken advantage of. So I love that, that's really a part of just the way that you conduct business. I mean, for us, my company, Events to Remember and PR to Remember, we deal with gig workers all the time. So I know that, that respect level and making sure that they're taken care of and all of that stuff. So I appreciate
Yeah,
that you incorporate that into your overall model. So,
absolutely.
how long have you guys been around? Tell me a little bit about the history.
Yeah, we started in 2018. So it's been a little over 7 years. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been significant. And so, in the beginning, we were just really fumbling around. We were like, we think like it's just a whole history of testing. Does this work? Does that work? It took us time to really find our audience.
Mm-hmm.
And then we figured out our audience, which are primarily millennial women, millennial now Gen Z women that
Yeah.
want to kind of document their life moments. So it's when they start like they do things like they adopt a puppy or they start dating seriously and they want all of a sudden you want professional photos. Like
Mm-hmm.
phone photos are great for your everyday, but there's certain milestones where you want that extra professional dramatic kind of look at you where it's like larger than life, right?
Yeah.
And when you use a professional camera, it really boosts that significantly.
Mm-hmm.
So we found a niche, and then we started um, figuring out how to scale to other cities. So we started that the next year. So it took about a year and a half. The
Hmm.
next year, we started going to different cities, starting in California and Texas. And then the pandemic happened, and we figured out we were very lucky. We're a service that is primarily outdoor and
Hmm.
can withstand social distancing. So we were something that families could do.
That's
So
awesome.
that was, yeah, that was super nice for us. So then during the pandemic, we figured out how to scale to about 60 cities across the US.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
yeah. And since then, we're like, how do we make it even better for the client and for the photographer? Like, what kind of partnerships can we have? There's so
Mhm.
many kind of figuring out how to go from like startup mode where you're really just like fly by the seat of your pants to
Yeah.
then being like, let's build something that has legacy, that
Mhm.
has a foundation that isn't just too scrappy.
Yeah.
That
Hmm.
was like a lot of our middle years.
Hmm.
And now, we finally hit profitability in our sixth year, which
Hmm.
was a big deal.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people didn't believe that we could, just because
Mhm.
they're like, what, people just, they don't know.
Yeah.
And so it was nice. It was nice to see like, no, we have a self-sustaining business here,
Hmm.
even though it has this free offer upfront that everyone's like, there's no way that would work. We figured out how to make it work, which is really nice.
Awesome. I love that. So
Yeah.
speaking of that, so what's new? Anything new exciting for you guys? Any new cities? Anything special happening?
I think we have a celebrity endorsement coming up. We can't say exactly who yet, but
Ooh.
you will find out very soon.
Okay.
So that's really nice.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and I think a lot of the things that most excite me are things that are probably a little more unsexy to other people, in that like, when when we figure out like a really good accounting firm, it's really exciting. That's when you know how to run a business. It's like it's all these things that like help your day to day.
Yeah.
But I think we're in a place where we have a lot more stability. We are able, when you have stability, you're able to offer better services even for our own photographers.
Hmm.
We had a photographer that was on our team for I think 5 or 6 years that joined our internal team and is
Yeah.
making and doing really great work to
Hmm.
support our photographers, and that was like a huge need that we had. So
Hmm.
it's things like that. It's the I care very much about the quality of life of my team, of my
Hmm.
photographers. And then for our clients, we're continuing to maintain that standard and or improve it, and we have partnerships coming up with other vendors like Fracture, which is a glass print, I think, companies is what they would call, like they print photos on glass, which is really cool.
Hmm.
So there's just like things that we're trying to do to kind of surprise and delight our clients.
Love it. I love.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of love, my last question that everybody knows that I love. So what advice would you give to a new entrepreneur, someone just starting out, or someone who's been in business for a while, kind of hitting a rough patch? Just based on the experience that you've gained and everything that you've kind of been through, what advice would you share?
I think for both those people,
Hmm.
I think finding community is so important. I
Mm.
think when you suffer in silence, you don't know if what you're experiencing is normal. Some things are just growing pains and they're absolutely part of the process, and you're actually doing really well. It just feels very frustrating. There's so much about being an entrepreneur that is very frustrating, right?
Mhm.
Because being an entrepreneur is basically nonstop problems. That's just what it
Yeah,
is. You have to
it is.
enjoy solving problems,
Be a
but
problem
you also
solver.
have to know that
Yeah.
the problems are part of it, and it's totally okay. It's a little bit like being married. Like if you're just expecting things to be fine all the time, you're just going to be just distraught. You're like, why is it like? So it's like, well, it's two different people, right? And same thing with a business. Well, it's a business, and
Yeah.
business is just, nothing is easy. Or
Mhm.
so many things are not easy. So when you're in community, you start to learn what's normal, what's really not normal, where you're like, no, that's not normal. You need to respect yourself more, or you need to get a better
Mhm.
vendor. Like that vendor is cheating you. Like all of these elements,
Mhm.
it's so good to know. And there's so many resources for virtual meetups, local
Mhm.
meetups, organizations like Entreprenista, which is really great. That's
Mhm.
that where there's all these like women that are trying to build their own thing, that you can
Mhm.
get advice from them, or you guys can be each other's vendors. There's so many places where
Mhm.
you get a sense of that, and the more that you understand what you're struggling with in context, it helps kind of create wind under your sails to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That's such a great answer. And it's so important, that community aspect and just another ear. Because entrepreneurship can be lonely, right? So it is
Yeah.
good to, I think that's great advice to share because you just, you don't know what you don't know, and
Yeah.
just to get someone else's perspective gives you life, it just makes the world a world of difference. So, Jennifer, you're awesome. I could sit here and talk to you all day, but we both have to get back to work.
Yes.
So, thank you for being here with us on Coffee with Cher. For those of you that are new to the podcast, make sure that you follow, you subscribe. We just started a new YouTube channel, Coffee with Cher. So, make sure that you subscribe there. Share with all entrepreneurs in your world. We're talking about some great stuff and really highlighting some great entrepreneurs like Jennifer. So, thank you for being here with us. Where can everybody find you, Jennifer?
So yeah, you can find Shoot on Instagram at Shoot with two T's photos. So it's at Shoot Photos. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're also on LinkedIn, Facebook. And then you can find me also on Instagram at Jen Tsay. And or on LinkedIn, Jennifer Tsay, Tsay. So love to connect with any and all of you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer, for being here. Thank you guys for listening. Again, Sharice Jervis Hill, events to remember and PR to remember, and happy to share these nuggets on Coffee with Cher with all of you. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.